Welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. I want to teach as many people the secret of the rich. If you are a U.S. investor, U.S. business owner, U.S. entrepreneurs, U.S. franchise owners, and 1099 income earners, how to save taxes legally. Imagine saving 5 figures in taxes year after year, generation after generation. You could put this money back into your investments. You could put this back into your business. You could pay off your mortgage. You could take your family on a well-deserved vacation. You could give to your favorite charity or save for retirement. Imagine all lawsuits become frivolous and go away. Think about how much time, anxiety, worry just disappears. Imagine leaving a legacy for future generations. This is the power of the Spendthrift Trust. Let me share my screen real quick. Now, the Spendthrift Trust comes from England way back when King Henry VIII, that famous king who chopped off his wife's heads, started the Church of England so he could divorce the ladies. Hey, murder a few ladies? Why not? He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and they went back to the 13th century, to the Magna Carta, and said, oh, no, King Henry VIII, you can't do this. This is contract law that came from England to the colonies while we were still part of England. The law firm I work on behalf of inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023. It's now 2025, so it's 352 years old. The law firm I work on behalf of was started by Paul Benson, a Harvard law professor, who started his law firm 77 years ago. Now, unfortunately, he's passed away. Now his grandson and great-grandson run the law firm. In 77 years, not a single trust has ever been audited, and they are so confident in what they do, if you get questioned by the IRS, they will defend you free of charge. In 77 years, it's happened one time only. The senior IRS agent went down to Houston, where the law firm is, spent 5 hours in the boardroom, approved the trust, and 2 weeks later, he sent an unsolicited letter back to the law firm. If you want a copy of that, you just have to reach out to me. Now, the elephant in the room. Why hasn't your CPA or your financial advisor told you about this? I can almost guarantee you they are going to give you the IRS memorandum that's dated August 3rd of 2023, where the IRS specifically says they do not like Tax Code 643B. They do not like the Irrevocable Complex Discretionary Non-Grantor Spendthrift Trust. It's a memo. It's their opinion. In my opinion, lima beans are the worst vegetable in the world. My mom loved them. They're too big to swallow whole, and they taste nasty. Only Congress can change the tax code. I forgot to record this on Monday, November 10th. So this is now Veterans Day. Thank you for all who have served. I just heard the federal government is supposed to be opening up again as of tomorrow. The federal government has the only power to change the tax code. Our current president's father started this trust in 1972. The Kennedys, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies all have this trust. I don't think they're changing the tax code. Now, the 5 elements that are very important for the Spendthrift Trust, let me go over them. Irrevocable. This goes from generation to generation to generation. The Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust is 7 generations old and has 400 people under the same EIN or employee identification number. Each separate family files a separate 1041 tax return. They're not commingling their money. Complex. This trust can hold money from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, century to century. 97% of the trusts sold every single year are what my parents had, what Susie Orman talks about on PBS television, the family trust or the living trust. My mom and dad had the Gimmon Family Trust, not very original in the name, and when they both passed away, all their assets had to be divided between my 2 brothers and myself, and the trust stopped working. What I'm talking about is not what your mom and dad has. This is what the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, and the Trumps have. Discretionary. Whoever is a trustee or trustees can make the rules for the beneficiaries while the trustee is alive and also from the grave. One of my clients, a husband and wife with 4 apartment buildings in Los Angeles, thank God they weren't harmed during the fires, they're allowing their adult daughter to live in one of the apartments rent-free, but she has to do 4 random drug tests because she has a problem. She actually sued her mom and dad in federal court, saying it was unconstitutional to make her do 4 random drug tests. The federal judge read over the beneficial trust the family had and told her she had 2 options. One option, move out, start paying her own rent, or stay in the apartment and pass the random drug tests. I do not want to be invited to their Thanksgiving dinner. Non-Grantor. This makes the trust 100% private. When you start a spendthrift trust, you're going to have someone who will never be a beneficiary and who will never be a trustee sign up to be the grantor or the settler of the trust. Then they sign themselves right away out of it, saying they have nothing to do with the trust. I have done this for several of my clients. It is not a speed bump, but you do need the grantor's social security number. When my parents started the Gibbon Family Trust, my mom and dad were both the grantors and the settlers, and when they both passed away, that trust dissolved. Again, this is how it's so unique. And the last element, the 5th element, spendthrift, has been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and it's won both times. You can't get more legal than this. It's an amazing document. Now, this is the 2025 tax brackets. Quietly, on January 1st of 2025, the IRS changed some of the numbers here. There's 4 ways to file your taxes. Most expensive way is single. I'm single, so I know. Then there's head of household. If you're single and have children 18 or younger. Then there's married filing separately. And the cheapest way is married filing jointly. On January 1st, 2025, check out what the IRS did. They changed married filing separately to be the same amount as single, all the way up to 35% tax bracket. In July of 2025, I talked to a potential client who started digital marketing. In the first 5 months of 2025, she made $100,000 a year, and her CPA said since she's a 1099 income earner and her husband has a W-2 job, they should file separately. When I showed her these numbers and showed her at 24% tax rate, the filing married separately, it starts at $103,351 to $197,300. To filing jointly, it's almost double the amount. She was going to save over $5,000 in a year filing jointly. She's now a client and saving all 90% on her federal income taxes. She's in Texas. Unfortunately, she has no state income taxes. This is 2006 tax brackets. I did a quote for somebody back in October. They were at 24% tax rate, filing married jointly. And when I compared 2025 tax savings to 2026 tax savings, the big beautiful bill, they got to save $148. I'm not sneezing at $148, but it's not a huge tax savings. They have started the Business Spendthrift Trust because they want to save 90% on federal income taxes and no longer pay Minnesota state income taxes. Now, just to give you an example, this is in Arizona. I did a presentation there. If you make $100,000 gross in 1099 income, you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, a franchisee owner, or a 1099 income earner, plus Arizona state income taxes, this is how much you will save per year at $100,000. Single or married filing separately, $17,847. Head of household, $16,327. And married filing jointly, you would save only $13,371. You make more than $100,000, you'll save even more in taxes. So Paul Benson wrote 5 specific taxes to save specific money. The business trust is for all business owners, entrepreneurs, franchisee owners, and 1099 income earners. You will save at least 90% on federal income taxes and no longer pay state income taxes. This is an actual client who called me on January 3rd. Ladies, he was in the military, he's single, and he works for a defense contractor in Northern Virginia. He knew in 2024 he made $150,000. He's driving a 10-year-old vehicle and lives in an apartment with 2 roommates and had nothing to show for it. He plans to make more than $150,000 in 2025, but we just used $150,000 because that's what he knew about. He's going to save $25,962 at 90%, plus an additional $8,625 for a full year at $34,587. If you pay your taxes monthly, he got to save $2,882 per month. He's taking the $34,587 that he's going to save in 2025, and he's going to put it on a down payment on a house in 2026. It's his decision what he does with that money. Now, my personal story, so you have it. October 2008 to October 2018 was my watershed month. Three major things happened for me. I'm working as a Medicare broker in Phoenix, Arizona. Didn't like the job very much, and I had requested my oldest nephew was getting married in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 27th, 2018. I requested the Monday before the wedding, the Friday before the wedding, and the Monday after the wedding off because I had friends and family coming in from all over the world. I had the vacation time saved. They said no. If you know anything about Medicare, open enrollment is from October 7th to December 5th, and they said, we need you in the office. Didn't like the job even more after that. Second thing that happened, I bought a 2018 Hyundai Veloster with a moonroof. Oh, I love that car. It was 3 weeks old. I'm driving to work on Indian School Road. I'm the second car through on a green light, and some idiot runs a red light, T-bones me on my passenger side, and has no insurance. Yes, I had $25,000 in uninsured coverage that did not cover the loan, and silly Sally had the paperwork sitting on her kitchen table for gap insurance because she had 4 weeks to fill it out, and she was only on week 3. All of a sudden, I went from being comfortable to getting a second car loan with only one car and eating ramen noodles twice a week like I did in college. I'm 53 years old. I shouldn't be doing this in October of 2018. And the third thing that happened, my mom and dad, who lived in Goodyear, Arizona, 25 miles west of Phoenix, drove from Goodyear to the Charlotte for the wedding and was supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. My dad calls me Thursday before the wedding to say my mom's in the emergency room. He's not sure what's wrong. Do not change my flight. He'll meet me at the airport 7:20 on Saturday, the 29th. I drive myself to Sky Harbor Airport. I take a red eye from Phoenix to Charlotte. My nephew who's getting married, his younger brother and my dad meet me at the airport. Family tradition, we go out to IHOP for breakfast. The two guys went back to the house. My dad takes me to the hospital to see my mom. I walked in on the priest giving my mom last rites. I was not ready for that. It was a surreal day. I go back to my brother's house, go to the church wedding at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, go to a country club for the reception. I ate too much. I danced too much. I drank too much. I had a fantastic time. The next day, my sister-in-law puts on this amazing brunch. We kept calling it the smorgasbord. Anita's Italian. She's like, it's not a smorgasbord, but incredible food. My dad taps me on my shoulder at 12:30 in the afternoon and says, let's go see your mom. I'll drop you off at the airport because I had to be back at work on Monday at 6 a.m. My dad ended up that my mom had septic of the blood. It got into her pacemaker. They had to do open heart surgery, take out her old pacemaker, put in her new pacemaker. My dad stayed with my mom for 9 months in Charlotte before they came back to the Phoenix area. He was supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. I was going out to the house every weekend to do the mail. First week of December, there was a letter that was 27 pages thick. It was my mom's monthly statement from Medicare. First month of emergency room visit and 1 month on a ventilator cost $72,000. My dad was retired military. They had TRICARE for life, but I'm standing in their kitchen and I have a $10,000 deductible for my health insurance. Thank God I wasn't injured in that car accident. My car was just totaled. I have 2 car loans, 1 car. I have a mortgage. I have student loans because I went to graduate school. I have credit card debt and I hate my job. Right then and there in my kitchen, in my mom and dad's kitchen, I called Glenn and said, I need to change my life. He's like, Sally. He had invited me to a real estate meeting in August of 2018. He said, Sally, next weekend, we're having a Christmas potluck dinner. Bring a $5 gift and some food and meet my fellow real estate investors. Okay. The only people I was going to know there were Glenn and his wife, Rhonda. They were going to be there later because they're going to a Christmas pageant. He wanted me to show up at 6 o'clock. Best decision of my life. I met some fellow real estate investors. I met my mentor, Jay Tenenbaum. And in 2019, I wholesaled 7 bank-owned properties nationwide, paid off $184,000 in debt. Woohoo! completely debt-free. I'm a rock star in my real estate group, and I have $50,000 in my bank account. Well, my mom got better. Thank God she came home. In 2000, on March 17th, we canceled a major St. Patrick's Day party. My mom's from Ireland because of COVID. On April 1st of 2020, my 3 notes did not pay me. I had no money coming in. And on April 4th of 2020, my CPA called me to congratulate me. Yes, congratulate me to say, I made so much money in 2019, my tax bracket went from 22% to 24%, and I owed $94,000 in short-term capital gains. I only had $50,000 saved. He's like, make an appointment. We're going to set you up on a payment plan. How can I get off of this hamster wheel? I went to bed. A fantastic book to read is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I went to bed thinking, how the heck am I going to get an extra $24,000 when everything shut down because of COVID? I wake up the next morning, 5 a.m. I had read an article about the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office. If the Rockefellers can save taxes, why can't Sally save taxes? I didn't start my business and beneficial trust until September of 2020. I moved this property. By the way, I took a HELOC off my paid off townhouse, defeats the purpose of being paid off. But I bought this bank owned property in July of 2020 for $20,000, kind of 2020 all the way through. And it was going to go to auction for $50,000. At 24% tax rate, that $30,000 in between, it would cost me $7,110. I bought it with my LLC. I didn't start in July. I didn't start the trust until September of 2000. I did 2 simple bill of sales from Sally's LLC to Sally Gimmon, and then from Sally Gimmon to the trust. Went to the bank, got my banker Jose to notarize it. I happened to have $10 in my wallet. I handed it to him. He put in his notary book that consideration was made. Went back to my house, scanned the 2 documents, sent them to the attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina. The next day, the attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina asked for the first page of my trust. When the house finally went to auction after COVID, on August 28th of 2021, it sold for $64,326. Woohoo! Without lifting a hammer, I made $44,326. At 24% tax rate, I got to save $10,336 that short-term capital gains I just put back into more real estate. It's an amazing document. I want everyone to know about this. So next page. Now, beneficial trust is going to save you the 5 following taxes. You will no longer pay capital gains. This is showing short-term capital gains are just like federal income taxes. I have another slide for long-term capital gains. Short-term capital gains are when you sell crypto, you're doing options trading, you're a forex investor, you're wholesaling, you're fix and flipping, you're doing auction houses, or tax liens. Interest income taxes are just like federal income taxes, and they affect you if you're a passive investor, you're in mutual funds, you're in a REIT, you're doing subject to real estate, you're doing the BRRRR strategy. I have notes where on the paper on the house, people pay me their mortgage, creative financing, seller financing, and forex investors. Forex investors, you get taxed twice, capital gains and interest income taxes. Dividend income taxes, again, just like federal income taxes, between 10% to 37%. If you're in the stock market, you are a day trader, you're doing futures trading, commodities, or living off of dividends. Rental income taxes. If you have short-term rentals like Airbnb, vacation rentals, maybe you have 3 doors, 5 doors, 10 doors, 20 doors, 100 doors. You're in multifamily, apartment buildings, commercial property, or you're doing Airbnb arbitrage. Yes, you can move a property that has a depreciation schedule into the trust. Yes, you can move a property on cost averaging into the trust. Remember, all lawsuits, if the renter's dog gets out and bites the mailman, they can't come after you. The one that's not on here is royalty income taxes. They're taxed a little bit less, between 10% to 35%, 7 different tax brackets, but they affect you if you're an actor, an actress, a musician, an author, maybe you're an artist, you're in the NFT world, you have copyrights, patents, or intellectual property. Robin Williams had the Beneficial Spendthrift Trust. Unfortunately, he committed suicide, but his 3 adult children pay no royalties on all his works. Now, long-term capital gains are either 15 or 20% when you sell your business, sell an investment property, or baseball card. This is an actual client. His son saw my TikTok video. Jim, his father, and his two brothers built this restaurant 42 years ago, selling it as is on March 30th of 2023. With the trust at 15%, he and his wife would save $450,000, and at 20%, they would save $600,000. Jim had never been on Zoom, so we did this all by phone. He asked me to call his business broker, Sam, so he could change the contract. I'm talking to Sam. Sam's like, I have this business being sold and 4 others coming up. On this business, he was going to make $30,000 in 1099 income. He started the business trust. Sam tells Michael, the gentleman who's buying this family restaurant, it's going to be his 7th restaurant in 3 different states, about the business trust. Michael is going to save so much money in all 3 states. He buys the business trust because because Sam was in my affiliate program. Sam got to make an extra $1,000. Now, several of my clients are dealing with this. IRMA is for people who are making too much money and on Medicare, 65 or older, or maybe you're younger and on Medicare. If you're single and making $106,000, or if you're married making $212,000, you're going to get a surcharge called income-related adjustable amount that affects your Part B and your Part D of Medicare. Every October, the IRS goes back 2 years, so October 2025, they went to 1040 tax returns of 2023 and added everything together. How much you're getting from Social Security, how much you're getting from pensions, how much you're making in wages, how much you're taking out of 401k withdrawals, SEP withdrawals, interest income taxes, capital gains, dividend income taxes, rental income taxes, or royalty income taxes are all added together. If you're making more than $106,000 as single or $112,000 as married, it's going to affect your Part B and Part D of Medicare. I sold a beneficial trust to a husband and wife who have done very well in the stock market. They have quite a few. We're going to save them dividend income taxes. The husband, who's 70, and the wife, who's 68, the husband was not aware they were paying the surcharges of $485 per month each for Part B and Part D of Medicare. I could bring it down to $185 that everyone who's on Social Security is paying for Medicare, and they got to save over $300 or $600 per couple per month, besides saving dividend income taxes. Oops, I have to apologize. My last slide, I really messed up on my slides today, but if you're interested in setting up a 30-minute tax breakthrough session with me, please do, because I will take you out to NerdWallet, show you how much you could be saving, but this is a legal document that if you want to learn more, please let me know. Have a beautiful day. Take care.